What can I say? I'm going to try not to be too negative in this reaction because the Bills just murdered like every teaser I had. I mean, they just ruined my Sunday. We're both going to be watching the Eagles tonight, praying that they pull it out because now you're sitting there 4-3. You got to be careful with the Dolphins. They will run away from you in this division if you keep fucking around. And that's what they're doing. They're fucking around. You get out here in the first half, you let a team like the Giants or the Patriots hang in there. And in the second half, you score 2 touchdowns like that. It's like the same game script. It's like too little, too late. And then the worst part about this, and I know about the defensive injuries. I know their best corners down. I know a hell of a football player, Matt Milano, is out. I know Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones are out. I know there's a lot of guys out for this team. No questions asked, but it's got to be next man up when you're playing like the 2 worst offenses in the league. And if you look at last week, a minute 25 to go, you've got Tyrod Taylor leading a 13-play, 56-yard drive that essentially, I mean, if that call goes the other way, that game's over. You kind of got bailed out. I think the Giants had a chance to win that game. You shouldn't even been down there if you're a defense like you say you are. And then 8 for 75, 8-play 75-yard drive with 136 to go is even more shocking, even considering the context of the game and the way the Pats were moving the ball. Mac Jones was great in the second half. I got to give him credit, 11 for 13 in the fourth. But as a defense, like that is a cardinal sin. It's one thing to give up a field goal, and that was part of my worry when they were down there at the 1-yard line after that penalty, where I almost thought Josh Allen kind of took a dive on first down to eat that 2-minute warning up. I wouldn't have mind seeing one more of those. Now, I know some people are not crazy about manipulating time that way. Some people aren't crazy about letting people score. Some people aren't crazy about playing the clock that way if you're on offense, just getting the end zone. But I thought it just felt like the kind of day with the leakage in the pass game for the Bills defense that this was going to come down to a field goal and the Pats would send it to overtime. And boy, was I wrong, because this is fucking embarrassing. When you give up a drive like that 2 weeks in a row to 2 of the worst offenses in the league, you got to do some soul searching. You know, McDermott's a defensive head coach. I know he takes a lot of shit. I think he's a good ball coach. But this is not a situation where you can give these 2 drives up, especially when you're not winning the division right now. You're in second place. Ugh. I know who's down. I know who's down. And I thought they really missed Ed Oliver. I really do. That's the most disappointing part of it to me, is that you couldn't pressure Mac Jones the way this offensive line's been this year, the way they've gotten boat raced by bad teams this year. You're the Buffalo Bills. There was a time less than a month ago that they looked like the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl because of that Dolphins game. Josh Allen talks a lot about, I need to know the situation, the game, the quarterback I'm playing against, and it continues to plague them. You're playing Mac Jones in the Patriots offense. You come out of the gate. Now, I know everything wasn't on him and the offensive line looked terrible, but the first fucking play of the game, you throw a pick offensively. The defense steps up, forces a field goal. That's more leakage than you want against an offense like that. But okay, we can rally and go get points on the board on the road. You do not want to be down 10-0 to anybody, let alone Bill Belichick gunning for his 300th win. So congratulations to Bill. He hates the Bills. He hates the Jets. I almost feel like he would have rather been 1-15 with a chance to beat the Jets for win 300. But on the day where you hear that he does have an extension, some sort of deal in the offseason, which I think is really illuminating when you look at like the big picture for the Pats, makes a little more sense why they suck so bad right now. Bill might be here for a second. And although they can win games like this, you kind of hope they don't win too many of them. At one point, I called them the best 0-2 team in the league, and boy, was I wrong. This confirms, like on a day like this, who they can be. Even with the injuries, they can be scrappy, especially in division, keep the points down, create some turnovers. But the Bills just let them have this one. And Mac Jones, that's a win in his column. I don't want to take anything away from him. He played maybe his best game as a pro in a huge spot. Pop Douglas was great, kind of a revelation. But the Bills just too little, too late. And Josh, I'm not putting this loss squarely on him. This isn't like talk TV kind of thing. But you got to hit the easy throws when you break that pocket. Now, they're not easy for other people, but you've shown that off platform, rolling right, a deep crosser for 15, 17 yards is an automatic thing for you. It can be. He missed a lot of those plays that he earned opportunities to make by basically getting out of trouble because the offensive line was terrible, or I should say, the New England pass rush was really effective. So great game plan for the Pats. I don't think they expect to be up 10-0. Too little, too late. If you're the Bills, how thankful are you that James Cook is on your team this year? Because he's the difference between, I don't know, maybe being 3-3 and 4-3 or 2 and whatever the fuck. I'm not going to do the math right now, but Cook has been a guy, and I said this last week, that should have gotten them out of trouble last week if they'd have fed him against the Giants. And then this week, he kept them in the game. It can't all be deep shots to Diggs and short stuff underneath. They have to figure out a way to get an offense going that challenges every area of the field, especially with a quarterback like Josh Allen. So listen, McDermott, Bean, Josh Allen, they're going to be there for a little bit. McDermott extension, Bean extension over the summer. I'm not saying that Josh Allen isn't the guy. Josh Allen's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. But every time we think he's shaking this bug of like missing on some easy throws, careless, like brain farts, like that's his biggest thing is just fucking brain farts. They have to stop. He's Hall of Fame good, but he's making these mistakes that are weighing them down, and they don't have to come at the end of the game. They can come the first possession, because when you play that game down 10-0 on the road against Bill in division, it's not going to be good. And by the way, the wind was a factor for everybody today. It's a lot of the reason I bet a bunch of unders. I think the wind was whipping up there. So it's not a game that you want to be playing from behind, throwing the ball around. It didn't bother Mac Jones. Mac Jones outplayed Josh Allen. And I thought the Patriots had a nice offensive game plan. Just to put one last thing in perspective here, and they got a short week, the Bills do, going to Tampa Bay. So, like, hurry up, buckle up, do whatever you have to do, shake this one off. They play Thursday. 5 of 6 games that the Pats had played in before today, they were down double digits in the first half. They completely flipped the script. It's not just one game for the Bills. This is a pattern, and I fear that the injuries that they sustained, especially on defense, make them a team that when Josh has that variable game and they pop up a lot, the margin for error is too thin. Because when the defense has Matt Milano and Trey White and Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver, they are elite. They can keep you in ball games. They can cover up for a lot of the mistakes that Josh might make. And this offense, quite frankly, is just not very good right now. So, yeah, I'm not saying Josh isn't the answer, but he's got to clean it up. And they got to figure out a way to be a little scrappier on defense with the guys they have in the game, because in a big spot, this is a cardinal sin. It's a cardinal sin. I mean, they're lucky to get that turnover at the end of the game to force a chance to play possession by possession against these guys down to the wire. If they don't get that, I don't even know if we're having this conversation, but those are shameful 2-minute drives back-to-back weeks for the Bills.